Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brendan from Business and Brews, and I'm with Benjamin Moore. How we doing?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What business are we talking about today?
Ghostshield Epoxy Max.
Ooh, we're gonna be decorating some floors. That's what we're gonna be doing. All right.
Getting down with the floors, man. Getting down with the floors.
Thank you for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. So this actually means a lot, and I just want you to just have fun with this. All right, just enjoy yourself, and let's. It's gonna be all about you. That's all it's about. Not about me, it's about you.
Yeah,
all right.
Okay.
So today's local brew is going to be Stoneface Sunday Sauce. Ooh, this sounds delicious. It's an IPA. It's actually from Stoneface right here in New Hampshire. So I'm excited to give this a try. And
As am I.
All right. Cheers to you, buddy.
Cheers, baby.
All right. Thank you. All right. Now let's get started. So.
Ooh, it's actually good.
Not bad, right?
Yeah.
It's got a little hoppy.
I like it.
So, once again, thank you for being on this podcast. Thanks for taking time out of your day today to be on this. I want to just talk about how you got started with the business, but let's start with a little bit about you. Let's know about Benjamin Moore.
About Benjamin Moore.
Or would you like to go by Ben? It's up to you.
Yeah. Well, Benjamin Moore, as you know, is a very popular name, right? So, growing up in life, you always had the Benjamin Moore paint jokes. So, it was... it was hard to call anywhere and for anyone to take you serious because you'd call and, trying to get a hold of somebody and, especially in this industry too, in the coatings industry, epoxy and coatings and sealers and stuff, you call people and you'd say Benjamin Moore calling and, they'd put you on extended hold or, no one would answer the call and stuff. So, Ben Moore is usually kind of how I shorten it and stuff. And, so a lot of people call me Ben. So, but you know what? Benjamin Moore is a good paint. So I can't knock it.
No, but also a good epoxy guy too, right?
Yeah, and a good epoxy guy. It's a good segue into it and stuff. So, let's see. Yeah, about me. I mean, obviously, okay, this is one of my first podcasts. I'm just going to put that out there right now. So, I've watched a lot of podcasts, listened to a lot of podcasts, but never actually been on a podcast. So, this is cool. So I appreciate, reaching out to us and, getting us involved with what you have going on, right here in the community as well. So, about me. So, I have 3 kids. I have a 5-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, and I have a 2-year-old.
All right.
So, my life is a dumpster fire, legit dumpster fire. I have 2 boys and a girl. And, I had kids later in life. I didn't have, our son Jacoby till I was 42. Oh. So, a lot of my friends and colleagues, by this point in life, their kids were, getting ready to go to college and, here I am, wrangling kids in diapers and stuff. But, I think it was the perfect time to have kids later in life because, you're more aware of things, you appreciate it more versus the other way around. I think, having kids early in life, you're really, you're working, you're struggling, you're trying to, build your career, grow your business, all the stuff that, you're trying to buy a house and, you've got all these big goals and stuff. So I think sometimes that can keep people from enjoying the time. So I'm very fortunate. I'm appreciative that I had kids later in life. But in the beginning of life, you're trying to grow your business and, any business owner knows when you're trying to grow a business, that's like having kids on of itself. Right?
100%. It's full on. You have to be attentive to everything when it comes to a business. So yes,
you are like that business is your child, right? You're taking care of it, and you're changing different kinds of diapers, real world diapers. So growing a business, starting, and now still having a business, like it's nice at least having started, not having kids, grow that business, put the time and the effort into it and stuff so that, 10 years later, here we are and finally having kids. And now, it's a balance of still trying to manage, your business and your life and the kids and stuff. So, but it's fun, man. I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it for the world. I think everything kind of, has worked out well and it's continuing on a good trajectory and I feel very blessed. So yeah. It's pretty cool.
The one thing I'm going to say is you don't look like you're in your 40s, bud. So keep it up. You look, honestly, I would have thought 30s. And I'm not just saying that.
Thank you,
I'm not just saying that. I'm being serious.
I appreciate that.
So whatever it is you're doing, whatever founder youth you're using, keep using it.
You know, a lot of oil of Olay, a lot of moisturizer, you know, cucumber mask.
Okay. Listen, if it's working, keep it up, man. I mean, I'm hoping, since I'm Polish, I'm hoping I can look like this until I'm 60. So,
dude, you're not one to talk. I mean, we just told me you were going to be turning 40.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I would not have had you pegged for anything more older than like, you know, early 30s myself.
Well, it's the Polish founder youth. That's all I can say. So honestly, that is really good to hear. You know, and I like how you put your, you know, how now you're gonna be able to put your family first, and I like that. That's like that's something that, you know, everybody usually misses when they're trying to open up a business. They don't get that family time. And the metaphor
it's hard,
you used,
man. It's hard.
And that metaphor you used though was perfect though. You know, your business is your child at first. So you know what? You got some of the hard stuff out of the way. So now that you can actually spend time with your family. So you had your first child, which is the business. Now you have your other children.
Yeah.
So
technically I still have 4 kids.
Yeah, there it is.
Like that, right?
One's almost in college, right?
Yeah,
like,
one's almost in college. Seriously.
So, what got you into epoxy? What was like, hey, this is what I want to do? Like, give us a little bit about that.
I mean, it's probably just like a lot of other people. You know, you fall into things, right? You don't know what you want to do in life, where you're going to end up, or you may have your own, you know, goals and ideas of what you want to do and where you're going, but life just, you know, it has different plans for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've learned early in life to just kind of, you know, influence things, but don't force it, right? Don't push it. If you want something, try to influence it. But, you know, I'm a big believer in just kind of letting things happen organically. And, you know, my background, believe it or not, was like healthcare.
Okay.
You know, so I was in the medical field and in healthcare for a while. And somehow I just fell into marketing in the healthcare industry. And then, you know, one thing leads to another. And, you know, life to me, it's like, you know, a ping pong machine when you're playing ping pong. Like, you pull that stick back, you don't know what that ball's going to bounce off and what it's going to hit, who you're going to meet along the way, and how one person can set your whole life into motion, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy when you really think about it, because you know, I don't want to get too deep into that, but I mean, yeah, just, you know, one small little decision that you make, you know, that could be off by a few minutes. Maybe you decide you're gonna, you know, run out to the store for something, or, you know, take the day off, or just do some tiny little thing, and then it just ends up being such a big thing on the other end. So I was in marketing and healthcare, and then I met a friend of mine who was starting a business kind of in this industry and needed some help with marketing. So he had reached out, and yeah, one thing led to another. And, you know, after doing some marketing in this industry, I was like, you know what? This is cool. I like it. Like, I could do this. And so, you know, at the time, you know, not being married, not having any kids, that is a good time, if you're feeling entrepreneurial, to take some risk, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, you know, took some risk, and, you know, it's a lot of work in the beginning, but, yeah, I was like, you know what? I was leaving a career that I had been in for 10 plus years, right? So over a decade in the industry that, you know, that you're familiar with, that, you know, is, predictable.
Yeah.
Right. So you can predict it, to like, holy shit, I'm in a completely different industry, and, you know, I don't really know this industry at all, but you know what? Like, I'm rolling the dice and taking a chance with it. And, yeah, I mean, you're figuring it out, right? Like with any business, when you decide you're going to have a business and do something, and, you know, it's what you're passionate about, you know, I became very passionate about my business, and I love what I do. And, you know, we've all heard that cliche or that adage. And, you know, if you love what you do, then you're not working a single day in your life. And, you know, the healthcare industry, very rewarding, but man, it can be stressful. It can be stressful. And not to say that, like, you know, being in the epoxy coating industry is not stressful, right? I mean, I think in all of our industries, you know, there's a lot of stress that comes along with a business, any business, if you take a lot of pride and you're passionate about what you do. And, you know, it's interesting trying to put a team together that all, you know, share that same, you know, that same outlook or perspective about something and stuff, because you're a business owner, and a lot of the business owners know. And sometimes when you're starting your own business, you are wearing a gazillion different hats. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Your customer service, your accounts receivable, you're in charge of billing, and then you're actually doing the work. And at the end of the day, you're like, how am I, like, I don't have the bandwidth to manage all this. So it's taxing, man. It can be taxing, but you just do it just like any other thing. You figure it out, right? You hold yourself accountable, and you set some goals, and you figure it out. And we got lucky in this industry. I had a friend that was in banking, and I had mentioned to her that I was leaving my career and getting into this business. And she was like, oh, it's interesting. I have this other customer who's similar in that business. I should introduce you guys. And so I was like, yeah, awesome. That would be great. Introduce us. So she actually laced us up. And I mean, it was like a match made in heaven, man. Like, this guy was, at the end of his career and had grown some really successful businesses in our industry, the epoxy coatings industry, and was exiting the industry. And, he kind of like took me under his wing and was kind of like a mentor, and was like, oh, come here, kid. Yeah, you got this. Let me show you. Let me help you along the way. So he was definitely instrumental in helping us, kind of get started in the early years. So that was cool.
So being comfortable, I always felt if you're comfortable in a job, I don't really see much progress in life. When you get uncomfortable and you're in a position and you're learning that position, it's the way to master and learn. And this is where you make, I don't really call them mistakes, but lessons. You learn from everything like that, right?
Right.
So you were doing the working in the doctor's field, right? Like, as we can
healthcare,
say,
yeah.
Healthcare field, right?
Yeah.
And then you went from that to a different comfort zone, something completely different,
outside your comfort zone.
So, and now if you look at this, right, would you change anything? Would you change a thing now? If you could look back, now, would you be like, I wish I would have stayed, or are you really glad where you are now?
No, man, I wouldn't change anything, because I mean, like I said, like, letting things happen organically. You learn all your, like you said, right? Like, being in an uncomfortable situation, pushing yourself, it challenges you, and it makes you grow. Like, it forces you to grow, right? And that growth is, you're who you are today because of that growth.
Exactly, and you're a whole different person. Every door you open will lead to lead you to something better. Like, one closed door opens another door, and when another door closes, another one opens. So that's exactly what happened with you, which is great. You closed the door and you opened up this. You found a path, you went with it, and now look at you, Epoxy Max.
Yeah, Epoxy Max. I don't know what I mean.
Come on, So listen,
yeah.
This is huge, because if people, so everybody out there, right? Imagine your floor. Turn in your garage floor, turn in your basement floor, turn in your business floor into something creative, something mirror. Like, you can have, what's the different types? What do you have?
Yeah, so I mean, everyone has their, your garage, right? And I think, like, in today's market and stuff, with the price of things and inflation, the cost of living, it's like people are extending their living spaces, and you want to have nicer garages,
Yep.
right? Because it's an extension of your house and your home. And now with today's coatings and some of the advances in a lot of epoxies that have come along the way, you can put down an epoxy coating now that's gonna last your lifetime that you own your home. And so, like, in the olden days, like, man, you were putting down epoxy and that stuff was peeling up off your concrete and stuff. And epoxy, for a long time, I think it got a bad rap and stuff, because people were like, well, I like the way it looks, but I don't want that stuff peeling up off my garage in a few years and stuff. And so there was a lot of, like, bad epoxy out there. And so with Ghostshield and Epoxy Max, when we kind of got in the industry, like, we wanted to be the best. We didn't want to be the biggest, but we wanted to be the best. Especially when you're in a competitive market, the only way you're going to make yourself stand out in any industry that you're in, if you don't have, millions of dollars to bankroll and to spend on marketing, is the proof has to be in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a good ass product, because put out a good product and people are going to be like, oh shit, this is good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this beverage that we're drinking, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a sip.
Yep.
Like that. This is good.
Not
Right?
bad for an IPA.
This is good.
Yes.
Like, this is good. So, whoever crafted this beer, like they were, they put research into it. They put time. They invested energy, and they were like, okay, we finally got a good formula. Like this is when we're ready to put it out there. And it's the same thing with Epoxy. For us, like, we crafted a really good formula, worked with some really good chemists, and formulated some really good products that, were going to work in our marketplace and our environment, especially being in like, freeze thaw climates like New England, where you got, higher amounts of salts on things and stuff. And so we put together some really good coatings, and kind of word has gotten out there and stuff. So if you want to transform your garage space and have a really cool like man cave, or a really cool she shed. I mean, women want to have nice floors too, right?
Of course they do.
You don't want to forget the women want to have nice floors. Epoxy could be a really viable solution for you for like longevity, service life. It's got to be tough. It's got to be resilient because you're walking on it every day.
Yep.
You're wheeling things over. You're dragging stuff on top of it. So you need something that's going to be strong, but at the same token, time is money, and we all want to do something one time, right? You don't want to redo your epoxy floor down the road, or paint your house twice. So you try to get the best paint. You want to do it once. And so, we make a really good product, a really good coating. It's durable. We warranty it. We service it. And it can be really decorative, which is really cool now. Epoxy's come a long way. So there's been a huge wave in designer epoxy floors. And, you can get really cool colors. You can get really creative. You can get cool swirls, cool patterns. You can mimic stones, and it can just be an extension of you artistically.
So, okay, so with the flooring, right?
Yeah.
So the one I got on my floor, what kind of flooring was that? It was epoxy floor, yes. But
So that was an epoxy floor with a polymer flake.
Okay.
Broadcasted into it.
Okay.
Right. And those polymer flakes are like different colors. And then we put a clear coat on top of it that like encapsulates all that and protects it. And then that becomes your wear layer.
Okay. Now with the other ones, that almost look like marble floors. So what is that type of floor? What is that called?
So those are basically, we call those metallic floors. So designer metallic floors. Basically what you're doing is you're using the same epoxy on your floor, but you're mixing in metallic powders or micas, and you're getting the different metal looks, different shimmers, and there's a gazillion different colors that you can pick from, so they can get pretty cool.
I will tell you, I like it. I know you just did one recently for Whistle and Diesel. Is that right?
Yeah, Cody.
Now, what kind of floor was that? That wasn't like the marble one, right? Was that like?
So that was a polymer hybrid flake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. It's actually sturdy, durable. I like.
It's sturdy and it's durable. Nothing's standing up to fucking Whistle and Diesel.
Yeah,
kind of a beast, man.
Now, let me. So my one question is this, because I was always intrigued with the whole way that the marble looks. I know you guys mix in the colors and everything, but it does look like glass. The way that you guys have that finish compared, so the process behind that, like swirling it, like what is it? Give us like a little quick background on how like you would do a floor.
So it is a process.
Okay.
Right? It's a process. So,
is this one of your machines right over here?
This is one of our vacuums.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's all about prep, first of all, just like anything else in life, right? I mean, if you're gonna paint a wall, right, you don't want to paint over a wall that has a lot of imperfections in it, right? So you fix all your imperfections, you fix all your patches, you get it all nice and smooth, you sand it, then you apply a primer, then you apply your paint, and usually you follow those procedures and you get a nice looking wall. And you're like, all right, this is impressive, versus just, deciding you're going to paint your walls and just skipping all those steps and just throwing some paint on there. When you get done, you step back and you're like, ooh.
Should have cleaned that. Should have maybe primered that.
I should have filled that nail hole and that patch and that rip there. So it's the same thing with concrete. So obviously you want to get a good bond to the concrete, right? You want your coating to stick to it and adhere to it. So the process is, we go in, we have grinders, they have metal tooling, we grind the concrete, you get super dusty, but we have these vacuums, they suck all the dust out of it, so you're not breathing that stuff, because you don't want to bring in concrete dust all the time. You do that for a long enough time, and it has its own health implications. But once you grind the floor, then what you do is you put down basically a primer, like you would on a wall. You put down a primer, it's going to adhere to the concrete, it's going to stick better. And then, out of those primers, sometimes those primers would be they'll lock out moisture and vapor from coming up through the concrete and stuff, because moisture and vapor can sometimes lead to why epoxy would peel or delaminate off of the concrete. So you put down a primer or moisture vapor barriers, we call in the industry, and that ensures that vapor moisture transmission doesn't come up through your slab and make your coating peel off. Then you put down your base coat, and then you do your designer coat. And your designer coat's cool because you've got all this epoxy, you're mixing in all these cool colors and mixing it up, and then you're pouring this material on the floor at like 20 to 30 square feet a gallon, and so you're getting a ton of cool material out on the floor, and it's all 100% solids, so no matter how thick you pour it on the floor, that stuff's going to get rock hard. And so we pour it all out on the floor, and then we come back with a squeegee, or we come back with a trowel, or a T-bar, as we call in the industry, and we just make some swirls and some patterns and some designs, and it's a little bit of an art, right? Yep. Because you don't want to mix all your colors on the floor, because then you just get a mixture of two colors and it doesn't look good. Trust me, I've learned that. And so you kind of, you're working your colors that you mix, and you're kind of letting your colors organically just melt out on the floor. And it's cool because you never know what it's going to look like until the next day, because it all moves. So, you get done, you look at it, and you're like, all right, this looks cool. Fingers crossed it looks even cooler tomorrow when I come in. And usually 9 out of 10 times we come back and it just looks, you're just like, wow, it's cool. It looks cool.
Listen, if you're looking for a good floor, this is where you have to go. I'm telling you, cool floors, different designs, and you can even make your own colors if you want. Like, you can choose from the fantastic colors we have here. Now, are these flakes or are these actually colors?
No, so those are colors. Though that is actually mica powders. So those are them.
Oh,
so I mean, I'd open one up and show you, but
no, that's fine.
You don't want to, because you'll go home and your wife's gonna be like, Brendan, where were you tonight?
Yeah, she's gonna think I was at a pixie party or something. So here we go. Big question here: the goods and bads of being in business and doing this. What's the good, and then what's the bad? I know there's.
Oh man, with the goods and the bads.
You want to start with the bad first? Like, I mean, things happen. Like, like accident, like something, just like,
Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, so much stuff happens. I mean, on a regular basis and stuff, you're just always shooting from the hip, right? You're always trying to figure it out, solve problems and stuff. But I think the bad part, if there's a bad part to owning a business, is, and I shouldn't say bad. I think it's just going to depend on you as an individual, how you manage your time.
And how you recover from it.
And how, if you're able to detach from it and unplug, right, and shut it off, because that's the biggest challenge I find with any business, but with our business, it's just been being able to detach from it and shut it off, being able to, leave at 5 o'clock and go home and just be like, all right, I'm not going to think about work anymore. I'm not going to think about the business. That never happens.
No, it doesn't. You're working 24/7,
dude. You're working all the time, 24/7.
It's the truth. I don't. Even when you sleep, you're still thinking about your next move.
It's a mind job sometimes. Yep. You gotta rein it in. You gotta be able to rein it in and stuff. Otherwise, it can take a lot from you. And I would think that's probably the negative, if I could go back and change anything. It would probably be not to worry so much about some smaller things. In the beginning when you're starting your business, you're just, you're thinking everything counts and it's going to make or break you and stuff. But reality is, I mean, as long as the majority of what you're doing is on par and the small stuff, you can't sweat it.
No, it's hard, but it's hard when you're in business, especially when you're just coming up, because you don't want to make that mistake. Or you don't want that little small issue, and to you, it's something big, but to someone else, they'll be like, dude, that's nothing. Don't even worry about it. Don't sweat it.
Right.
But that's what happens. That means you have a conscience. That means you care about what you do. Right?
Right. That's what
if you're worrying, that means you just care. And you want to be the best around. And then listen, I get it. Like that's the one thing I will tell you, I get it. Sometimes you take something this big and you just turn it because you're overthinking it, or you're like
snowballs.
You're like, no.
In your mind, man. Yep. You're like, oh.
But then after that, when you find out what the problem was and you solve it, it's like, oh, okay, it wasn't really that big of a deal. No. I didn't need to sweat that. So
no.
All right, what about the goods? What we got for the goods?
The goods, man. Oh, the list is too long. But I mean, the goods are when it's like anything else. When it's good, right?
It's the truth.
I mean,
yeah.
When it's good, it's just good, man. And sometimes like it can just be good. It's on, like things are connecting. Like doing Whistling Diesel's floor, right? Like if you had asked us when we started, Ghostshield. I mean, Ghostshield we started in 2012, and we grew that. Had a lot of fun along the way. And the epoxy business, that was kind of like a sub brand for Ghostshield. But, it really wasn't until I had met my business partner currently, and we're like, hey, we should really, make this a really, distinctive, unique sub brand of Ghostshield. And that's where we came up with Epoxy Max. And, in such a short period of time, in a matter of, 2.5, 3 years, we were, we had gone out to Vegas, the World of Concrete. It's this big concrete show. And, just by mere chance, right? Because that's how life works, right? It's all about timing and chance. We had wandered off one of the exhibits into this other hall over there at the North Hall, totally unrelated to why we were out there, right? And Kubota is doing a display, on one of their tractors, and part of their marketing campaign, they had laced up with Zach Martin from Hoonigan. So, Zach Martin was out there, and, some of you guys I know probably know the Hoonigan brand, Ken Block and those guys who'd started it. And unfortunately, we all know what happened to Ken, and it's pretty tragic. But Zach Martin was out there at the Kubota exhibit, and they had the Hoonicorn, Ken Block's, infamous 1,500 horsepower Mustang out at the show. And I had seen that thing out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, shit, a car's here. I got to go check this thing out. And as I'm going over to check it out, I see, Zach Martin standing behind it. And, he's talking to some people and signing some autographs and stuff. And I'm just freaking drooling over the car, And then he comes over, and, he's from California. And he's like, what's up, man? And I'm like, dude, I can't believe this car is here. And he's like, yeah, and he's telling me some facts about it. And he's like, what do you guys do? And I'm like, epoxy. He's like, oh, no shit. He's like, do you guys do that metallic marble stuff? I'm like, yeah, as a matter of fact, that's what we do. He's like, man, he's like, I'm building a new chop shop. I'd love to get my floors done. You guys have any installers in California? And of course, like, this is like that business moment, right? That you're like, do I say no and lose the opportunity? Or do I shake my head, yeah, even though we don't have any installers out there, and you figure it out and you make it happen? And so I was like, well, yeah. It's like, we're just getting started out there on the West Coast. I was like, but, we don't have our sea legs under us just yet. I was like, but I'll come out and do your garage and stuff. And he's like, no way, man. He's like, yeah, let's get laced up. And we got laced up, and next thing I know, I'm like, telling my business partner, I was like, dude, we're freaking flying to California to meet Zach Martin, and we're doing his floor. And he's like, all right. So we like shipped all this product out there, and me and him hopped on a plane and flew out there. In the meantime, we got laced up with a couple of installers out there on the West Coast, and talked to them about the opportunity. They had somehow, I don't know how, heard of us out on the West Coast, and they're like, yeah, we'll help you guys do the floor over there. So it's cool because there's a brotherhood in the industry, right? Which is kind of cool. I think in any industry, you can connect with like-minded other individuals. You're in the detailing business, so I'm sure, maybe there's a network for someone details, maybe out of state somewhere, and you guys are like, hey, you know what? I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, and I can help you out, and we help each other out. And so it was cool. These guys came through. They helped us out because, you know, we didn't ship out grinders and all that stuff out there.
Yeah.
They came out, they prepped all the floor for us, and we were able to do this cool design. And, you know, Zach Martin, when he was done, had put out this cool video on his YouTube. And, you know, next thing you know, we had gotten a message from, you know, this other cat that's out in the West Coast, you know, and he was like, hey, you know, can you guys do our shop floor? And turns out, you know, he's a big dirt bike rider and stunt bike rider, and he was sponsored by Monster. You know, they call him Twitch, but his name's Jeremy Stenberg, and he was building this cool man cave. So next thing you know, we're like flying back out to California using the same crew that helped us out the first time, do his floor, and then you know, that went pretty well. And then he ended up lacing us up with, like, you know, Cletus McFarland down in Florida, and now we're getting ready to do his hangar. And then, you know, we got laced up with Whistling Diesel and Cody. And so it's funny just how, like I said, one small, what you think is just decision that you make is going to, like, change, like, your whole destiny of your life, right? Like, if we never wandered over to that hall, checked out the Kubota exhibit, wouldn't have never met Zach, and I don't know where we'd be today, right?
Yeah, and if you didn't say yes, and if you would have fumbled and be like, well, no, you answered it correctly, and look at you.
Hey,
that's awesome.
Always say yes. If you're starting a business, you know what? I think everybody knows you always say yes, and then you figure it out afterwards.
You do figure it out, and listen, right? That's when you actually are pulling from the waist, because if you make, you know, you got to figure out what you're doing. Listen, I have to say, I've put myself in many situations like that, and you know, you do have to figure it out. Because if you don't figure it out, you're never gonna grow. Listen, I never thought I was gonna be doing a podcast. I went with it. I'm just listen. You just go with it. You try it. You see if you're natural at it. You know, doing little commercials. I mean, you know what? Say yes. Just say yes.
Just say yes. I like yes.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations, though. And you have. I mean, I think when did I meet you? About 3 years ago, right when I opened, right?
Yeah, I feel it. Has it been 3 years already?
Yeah, it's got to be, because I'll be in my shop now for 3 years, and you gave me the opportunity by working on one of your BMWs. That was the first time.
I cannot believe it's been 3 years already.
And then I got to tell you, seeing you, like all the things you've done, like you did Q Car Care out in Burlington. Their floors look
good guys, man. Good guys.
Floor came out amazing. I'm telling you. But all of your work does. Like all the work that I've seen you do, or all the videos you guys are posting, the work comes out phenomenal.
Well, it's because we don't post all the terrible work.
Okay. Let's see. Put that on the back burner. I got you. Now I know you guys did a launch recently in Maryland, correct? Baltimore?
Yeah, we actually started, opening stores. So franchising Epoxy Max stores, and that's been again, learning as you go, right? You know, yeah. As with any business, it's like you get your business to a point where it's like it's running pretty well and it's self-sufficient.
Yep.
And I don't know if we're like gluttons for punishment or what it is, man. Maybe it's just the mind, like you said, you can't shut it off, and it's our human nature to keep going after more. But yeah, sometimes you bite off more than you can chew, and we're like, we should franchise these stores and start opening up some stores. And, we got that in motion. And talk about biting off more than you can chew, man. There is a lot involved with franchising. That is a whole different animal. It's so, the legal aspect of it is a lot. So,
you don't regret it, right?
I mean, I don't regret it, no. But if I had known a lot about it, I think I would have thought about it differently, for sure. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of business out there that franchise, and they do it quite well, right? I mean, it's an art, right? Because there's a lot of franchises that are successful, and I think there's a lot of franchises that we know, that we've all seen, that you're like, how could that place have closed, right? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it's a lot. But it's been fun. So yeah, we got a store down in Baltimore right now. We've got, distributors that are repping Epoxy Max in Texas and Denver, Colorado, and Connecticut, New York. So it's fun, man. It's been fun.
Well, listen, the growth that I keep saying in the 3 years, man, just keep going, buddy.
Yeah.
Keep going. Hey, listen, you're not in your comfort zone. That means you're doing well, because you're not in your you're not comfortable. because there's still more. Listen, you're not done. There's still more. You're gonna come up with another idea, and then I'm gonna see,
dude.
I'm gonna see. No,
man, no. My wife is telling me right now. She's like, Ben, no more ideas, please. No more ideas.
So I'm gonna kind of throw it off topic now. I'm gonna go with this. All right. What is how long you been in Hudson for? Like, where in this business in the Hudson? Like, how long you been here?
So we've been here in Hudson pretty much since our inception. I mean, we were in Nashville for a short stint, but yeah, we've been in Hudson since 2014.
2014. Yeah. All right, and since you've been here since 2014, favorite restaurant here or favorite place to go for food?
Ooh, I would probably say in Hudson. We probably, I don't know if you noticed, they're expanding T-Bones.
I see that. And it's going to be right down the street now.
So that's going to be right down the street. Obviously, California Burrito.
Raul, yep.
We're there on a pretty regular basis, man. Want to make sure we can, keep those guys in business and support the Tex-Mex movement. Because
listen, what he's doing, consistent food all the time, right? Do you notice, like, every time you're in line, it doesn't matter if you're the first one or if you're the last one in line. It doesn't matter what type of day, your food always comes out really good.
Dude, and I don't know what they put in it. Maybe that's addicting.
It's really good.
It's just amazing and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, we got to talk to them because I don't think they DoorDash.
I think he's in the process of it. The thing is, I think he finally just opened up Portsmouth, which was a little bit of there was a little catastrophe up there, which he finally got fixed, and now he just opened up first drive-through. By the way, he has the first drive-through in Portsmouth. Drive-through restaurant.
Cali
yes.
B?
Yep.
Wow.
So if you ever get a chance, it's up by the Walmart in Portsmouth, off of Lafayette Road. So go check that out. He's now finally going into work over here at the Uno's on Exit 1.
Yeah, I saw that. So, North Point's doing their build out over there.
They did that one. They did this one, and they did the one in Portsmouth. And we're going to be having you on soon, Raul. So can't wait to have you on, buddy.
Let's go in DoorDash, man. We got to get the DoorDash going. So I don't have to drive all the way down to the office.
Next thing you know, they're going to just see bags everywhere. No, that's good, man. Listen, it's all about supporting the Hudson, everybody in Hudson. You know what I mean? Like, you have. I always like to just talk about. I love food, so my whole thing is I always want to get people's input of what they like to eat and what they enjoy most about Hudson. So it's good. T-Bones is going to open up. I can't wait to see what that's going to bring. It's going to bring more attraction to Hudson. So that's really cool, though. But yeah, Cali B, man.
Cali B, and that's cool. I'm gonna have to check out that drive-through.
Yeah, it's out in Portsmouth. Listen, if you got to go to Maine for some reason, just stop on in.
Just stop on the way and stuff.
And you can go right to the drive-thru. Maybe you get a drive-thru margarita.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Imagine.
So, real quick, because I know it's we're getting close to the end here. Is there any like what's the best way I can say this? Is there any good like examples you could put to people that want to start their business? Like if there's somebody out there that really wants, to start a business, not an epoxy, but just start in general, and become successful. Do you have any I can't think of the word. I'm stumbling here.
I would say just do it.
Just do it?
I would say just do it. If you're thinking about doing something and you want to do it, just do it. You just got to do it. You just got to take that first step, as with anything in a business, success isn't instantaneously. It's cumulatively, right? So a lot of little actions and little decisions on a regular basis and exercise regularly you'll be successtional. Like you will be successful. Take the chance, right? Like we only have this one shot of life, and we've had so many failures along the way. If I told you how many businesses I started and man, flops, but you know what? You learn how not to do a business that way, and you can apply that knowledge to whatever venture that you're doing. But take the shot. It's better to live life and regret something you did than to live life and regret something you didn't do.
And and mistakes are just lessons. It's just another thing to add to your portfolio in life. That's how I see it.
That's really how it is. That's the truth. I mean, it's unfortunate that, we don't get to live, past, I don't know, nowadays, what do we get? Maybe 100 years, you're lucky. But I mean, if life was longer, think of how successful we could all be, because we'd have so much more lessons and experiences that we learn from to apply to future decisions in life that, you would have you'd be successful, right? If you could live indefinitely, but, we can't. But I say, take a chance, like whatever you want to do. If you're passionate about it, do it. I mean, it could be anything. You can make a business at it. I mean, I have friends that, wanted to go. I mean, I'm always fascinated by other businesses. So I'm always like, researching and looking at other businesses and, little companies where you think about like how they started and they became these like multi-millionaire companies, and they all took a chance on something, right? Everyone has to start somewhere. It was interesting because I had read an article about Red Bull. When Red Bull had first started, they would, and this is a true fact, you can research this, they would go to like concert venues and they would litter empty Red Bull cans all over the venues of these events to make people think that everybody was drinking them, right? So, I mean, Red Bull got its start somewhere, right? And just like any other business, you just gotta start. You just have to start. I mean, I look at like the Dr. Squatch soap and look at how that soap like blew up so quickly, right? We've all seen the ads on YouTube, and you're just like, man, this guy in the woods smelling pine cones, and next thing you know,
you can smell like pine cones too.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'm going to tell you, and this is what I want people to understand in life, and it's something I actually recently learned. So before, when I first started the business, I was nervous, of course, but I always thought everybody was my competition. The one thing I've learned now, and I'm very happy with, is no one's my competition. We are all in it together. So if you want to have a successful business, you need to put that competition mind out.
Oh, 100%.
You have to.
100%.
And you have to support.
100%.
Because just like what I'm doing right now, like I said, I thank you for being on this podcast.
Yeah.
But do you know how many millions of podcasts are out there? If I ever worried about other people doing this or doing that, the thing is, I'm just going with the flow. And I feel like when you own a business, you just go with it. Now, once you've had it in your palms and you're working with it, now just go with it. Go with it and stop thinking people are your competition.
Yeah, don't
think of them as someone that can help you and help you progress in life. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Like I support that. I mean, I have my own saying about that. I always tell people, it's not competition. I always tell people, competition happens at the bottom, collaboration happens at the top, right? Like one hand washes the other, but both hands wash the face.
It's the truth.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, stop thinking that you're competing with people. That's small-minded. Collaborate.
All right, we're gonna give them your location of where you guys are. Where your location is, like where you guys are.
Yeah, we're right here on River Road in Hudson. I had to think about that for a second.
River Road, Hudson.
River Road, Hudson, right here. Epoxy Max. We've got neon signs in the window at nighttime in case you want to get attracted to the store and come check it out. We won't be open, but
come give it a check out over here. I'm telling you right now, it's so wonderful. I mean, we're here right now. I mean, look at all the amazing stuff. I gotta tell you though, Ghostshield is such like a solid name. Like I feel like it's like a superhero. When you hear like Ghostshield, like I really do. It's so strong.
Dude, I gotta say a funny story about that. I know we're wrapping up here, but I remember when we were starting the business and we were trying to pick a name, and I was at the mall and I had seen the cell phone protector case, Ghost Armor.
Yeah.
Right? Ghost Armor. And I was like, oh, that's a cool name. And I was thinking about what we do is protecting concrete, and it's penetrating sealer. It's invisible. You can't see it. So I'm like, Ghostshield. Like, that would be a cool name. So I remember getting home, and this was like 2012. There were still some, URLs available. And I remember Googling it and checking up, and I was like, oh, this domain name is taken. But it wasn't like a live URL. No one was using it. So like, you can make an offer on it. So I reached out to the person, and we got a response, and the guy's like, yeah, man, I want $1,000 for it. I remember at the time, you're just starting your business. And I remember, thinking like $1,000. I don't know if we can spend $1,000 on this. And, I told my wife, I'm like, I don't know, I think we should do it. She's like, no, you got to come up with another name. She's like, we are not spending $1,000 on the name Ghostshield. and I just couldn't get it out of my head. And so I didn't tell her. I messaged the guy back, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's make it happen, And then, I'm a big believer, and it's better to, what's that saying that they say, beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. So I was one of those situations where I was begging for forgiveness. But honestly, it was like the best decision I'd ever made. Like, everyone says the same thing. They're like, Ghostshield's such a cool name. And it's like, nowadays, if you try to buy a cool domain, like we tried to buy one, the other day, actually, the guy wanted $30,000 for the domain. So we're like, all right, well, we're going to come up with a different name on that one.
Well, that's a little bit different. But I mean, the thing is, though, you fell in love with it and you couldn't get it out of your head. So that's why you went with it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I love it. Like I said, I think of like it's a superhero. I'm like, oh, Ghostshield. Exactly. Oh, maybe she could have shown that. But no, it you know what it is? It draws the attention. I mean, it's gotten my attention. It's gotten all these other people's attention. So I mean, what you did, spending that money, was well worth it. You turned $1,000 into something better. Look at this.
Thanks, man. Now it's worth $1,100.
There it is. Now, if you want to buy that name, it's going to cost you $10 billion. Just to give you a heads up. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. This is awesome. Cool. And thank you very much for being on the show today. Thank you for letting everybody know. And like I said, if you're looking for the best floor, this is where you guys got to check them out. I promise you. I mean, if you're watching them Whistle and Diesel, I mean, geez, he went and got his floor and destroyed it. But I saw the video, and the look on your face was priceless.
I know.
But come on down, check out their floors, ask about their samples. Listen, they got so much to choose from. Choose your floor, make it what you want, and just have fun with it.
Have fun with it. Come on down, check us out. And, if you're an epoxy installer, or you want to actually get into the epoxy business, we sell all the equipment, we do all the training, we're doing the applicator franchising and stuff. So you can get outfitted and actually with a turnkey business solution and actually get out there and start actually installing these floors as well. So if you're thinking about doing something different or adding something on, we have, tons of businesses that are coming in on a regular basis, a lot of painters and contractors that are getting into it because you can be creative. So yeah, definitely, if you're interested, don't be shy.
Take the chance. Take it. Just say yes.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
Well, thank you. This is Business and Brews. I'm Brendan. This is Ben. And we appreciate you guys tuning in today. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Let's
guys.
go!
Go, buddy.